I love nothing more than the story of an underdog winning, and that is exactly what happened when Star Wars hit the screens in 1977. Legends, welcome to the review show here on Coins Age Media. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. We're going to get a little bit of our geek on in this episode. This is Star Wars. If you're my age, when you think about episode 4, A New Hope, Star Wars is all we think of that movie as. The reason for that being is because when it was originally released, it was only known as Star Wars, and after a bit, it was redubbed as A New Hope when they knew it was going to be a hit. But true story of an underdog having success. Lucas had so many problems getting that film made. Nobody wanted to do it. He went to a ton of places that turned him down. Wasn't going to happen. Nobody wants this film. And if you are a creative person like myself, trying to get stuff out there and made, you're hearing the same thing. And it feels good whenever you discover that something as huge as Star Wars had a very similar start to what most of us have as creatives. And yes, it is an epic little film, and the one film in the entire saga that's pretty much a standalone movie. Like that, you could watch Episode 4, New Hope, and never watch another Star Wars film. It's a self-contained story, pretty much. By the end of it, it rolls up, evil gets beaten, good wins. There's the celebration at the end, the award ceremony, and everybody lives happily ever after. And it is a brilliant little film. It's always going to have a special place in my heart, simply because of that fact. It is the underdog story. The guy that was told he couldn't do it, actually doing it and proving everybody wrong. Now, there was a lot of holdbacks when Star Wars was getting made, and even when it was going to be released, it was held back for a year because they didn't want to go up against Smokey and the Bandit, who was coming out at the same time as their Star Wars was originally meant to be coming out, and they postponed it because of that. Like, no one had faith the film was going to work, and when it came out, huge flipping success, changed cinema for the better, and history right now seems to be repeating itself, and that is an entirely different episode for an entirely different time. Quickly to touch on it, when Star Wars was been shopped about trying to get made, most of Hollywood was owned by companies that weren't filmmakers, and there was a lot of marketing going on. Films were only getting made because the marketers were looking at figures and thinking, this works, we'll do this, instead of like letting a creative person do what they want to do, sort of thing. And that is definitely seems to be the case now at the minute. These days there's a lot of marketing involved in films, and it does have its place, don't get me wrong, but it's getting to the stage now where it almost seems like people are afraid to take a chance on something because the marketing team is telling them this isn't going to work. Again, that's a different story for a different time. But Star Wars itself, the hero story, absolutely fantastic. Of course, we open up with the crawl, as we're all accustomed to now in a Star Wars movie. And an interesting point on that was, that was all fine and well for A New Hope when it came out, but whenever we got to the sequel, The Empire Strikes Back, when Lucas did it again, he got into major problems because that's not the way you're supposed to open a film. And that's not something that actually crossed my mind. Like, I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan, but the majority of films, most films, well, all films basically, usually start with uh, the opening credits, actors' names and whatnot. And Star Wars never had any of that. All the credits was left to the closing credits. So that's an interesting thing. But I digress completely. This is going to be a long video by the look of things. Yes, it is the hero story. Luke Skywalker, farm boy, goes on an adventure and defeats a galactic empire. Basically, that is a swift synopsis of the movie. The opening shot of Princess Leia's shuttle going across the top of the screen, and then the Star Destroyer coming up behind it, and it just like coming across the top of the screen, and it seems to go on forever. It's just mind blowing. You know, these days with CGI and that sort of thing, you know, it's no major big shot these days, but back in '77 it was absolutely mind blowing. And then we get to meet Darth Vader for the first time, and within A New Hope, Vader is the big bad, and he's presented as, you know, you don't know who this guy is, or if he even is a guy. Maybe he's a robot, and like no one knows throughout the film. So he takes Princess Leia hostage, and before she's captured, he sends out two droids, R2D2, C3PO, with the plans for the Death Star, and they're shot off to Tatooine, and through a series of misadventures they end up getting sold into Luke Skywalker's family, and we discover that he wants to, you know, get away from the farm life. He wants to go and join the rebellion and fight against the Empire, and his uncle Owen is dead set against this. And you know, I need you for another season, you can apply next year. Like, he's just constantly trying to put Luke off from going and joining up. And we get a little chat between his uncle Owen and Peru that, you know, she's like, you know, you can't keep him here forever, there's just too much of his father in him. And Owen is like, yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And it's little things like that are scattered through A New Hope that is, you know, little breadcrumbs that we can come back to. If the film is a success, we can move ahead and make some more. Originally, the first trilogy was originally supposed to be one major big film, but it was just so big that it had to be split into 3 pieces. So Lucas was smart to drop in this sort of stuff that he could come back to and build off. And again, even if the film didn't hit big, it was still a little self-confined thing, a little, you know, just a standalone movie, and everybody be fine and well. But of course, the Empire is, after these 2 droids, they've discovered the plans have been sent out on an escape pod. They discover that there's droids on it, so they're trying to track them down. And of course, it's only a matter of time before they get the droids. R2D2 escapes from Luke. He's going to check out Obi-Wan Kenobi, the guy that he was sent after, who is a Jedi Knight. We don't really know that at this stage until we meet him and start discovering the ways of the Force and all that good stuff. But when Luke and C3PO try to chase R2D2 down, they're attacked by sand people. They're saved by Obi-Wan, and he takes them back to his place, and you know, he starts filling them in on the whole backstory of the Jedi, and Luke's father was a Jedi Knight, and Luke never knew what happened to his father, and all Obi-Wan will tell him is that he was killed by a young Jedi called Darth Vader. So we discover there's a connection there. We know Vader was a Jedi at one point, but we're not giving too much there. It's just enough to keep your appetite whetted. Is whetted even a word? Yeah. Anyway, Luke gets hold of his lightsaber, and Obi-Wan, when he hears the message from Princess Leia, he says, look, you need to come learn the ways of the Force, become a Jedi like your father, all that good stuff. And Luke is, he's still in the mindset of his Uncle Owen. He's like, that's too far away, I've got work to do and all this, and like the battle is so very far away from here, sort of thing. And Obi-Wan is like, that's your uncle talking. So Luke decides to head back home. The stormtroopers of the Empire have discovered that the droids were sold to Uncle Owen and Aunt Peru. They've got there ahead of Luke and murdered his family, and this is where Luke decides that he's going to go fight the Empire. And they need to get transport off the planet, and they meet up with Han Solo and Chewbacca, and the fun starts then. I've said it before to a lot of people, like there's a friend of mine never seen Star Wars before, recently, in the last couple of years, whenever this new trilogy came out, The Force Awakens, Last Jedi and whatnot, he hadn't seen Star Wars before that, so I sat him down here one day in the office and took him through all 6 films, and he absolutely loved it. But I said to him, Star Wars, A New Hope, and even The Empire Strikes Back, like, allow it that first half hour till they get off Tatooine. They're an incredibly slow film up to that point till they get off the planet, and yes, that's where the real fun begins in this movie. I'm a lifelong Star Wars. I appreciate Star Wars. I don't want to call myself a Star Wars fan. That name just doesn't sit well with me these days. The toxic fandom at the minute is what's killing this franchise. And again, that's another episode for another time. But we get off the planet in the Millennium Falcon, and we're heading off towards the rebellion, and they end up getting tractored into the Death Star, where of course Princess Leia's there. Then the rescue attempt starts. There's some brilliant. Harrison Ford in this movie is absolutely fantastic. It has Han Solo, like perfect casting for that character, and some has one-liners, and even his interactions between him and Chewie are brilliant. It's like I was going to say Laurel and Hardy sort of act, but it's that kind of comedy duo sort of thing that they're going there. They're serious, but they're funny at the same time. Absolutely brilliant. Like, I'm not going to go into major details. I'm getting to the point now where I'm kind of skipping into absolutely everything that happens in the film. Of course, if you are a fan of Star Wars, you've seen it, you know it. The trash compactor scene, absolutely brilliant. The swing across the chasm in the Death Star with Leia and Luke is absolutely brilliant. They did their own stunts for that one. So they eventually get off the Death Star. Now, one of the big complaints about the Star Wars films were the stormtroopers and their bad shots. Like, the amount of times they shoot at people and miss them is comical. But, in the context of the film and the bigger picture of the thing, it makes perfect sense to me that the stormtroopers have been ordered in the film to chase these guys down, but don't kill them, let them escape. We discover later on, after the heroes escape the Death Star and they're heading off to the rebellion, that the Empire had this planned all together, and they've got a tracker on the Millennium Falcon, and basically they're our heroes are leading the enemy to their gates, essentially. So that's a thing for me that a lot of people like to really slag off these movies and all movies in general. Whenever they find something out there, they tend to jump on it. Another thing is the stormtroopers' armor. It's like, this is armor, it's meant to protect them, sort of thing, but one shot and the stormtrooper's dead. In the movie itself, when Leia is rescued by Luke, she says, you're a bit short for a stormtrooper. And he's like, he's got the helmet and all on at this point, and he's like, what? Oh, the uniform. So, it's in the movie. It's in the dialogue. It's not armor. It's a uniform. But again, that is, it does look like armor, so, that's a nitpicky thing. But, I've got deep love for this movie, and, I've heard the abuse people have given it over the years, and there is little bits in the movie that back up the sort of stuff that, makes a good argument against most of it. So, of course, by the end of the film, the Death Star turns up at Alderaan. Is it Alderaan? For some reason, the name is completely leaving me now. Alderaan was Leia's home planet that the Empire destroyed. Anyway, I'm tired. I've been awake 15 hours right now. The final assault on the Death Star begins. Beautiful cinematic piece, this fight against the Death Star, the X-Wings going against the TIE fighters, and the final trench run to bullseye the exhaust port that's going to destroy the Death Star. Now, that was a big thing for a lot of years. Why the heck would the Empire build this thing like the ultimate machine, like the ultimate death bringer, and leave something like that can be exploited so easily? And it made me so happy whenever Rogue One came around and we addressed that, and it made perfect sense in the universe and the continuity. Absolutely brilliant. So of course, by the end of the film, Luke manages to destroy the Death Star, but only with the help of Han Solo. Han Solo is the big hero in this movie in my eyes. Darth Vader has Luke dead to rights. He's about to take him out in the trench, and Han Solo, after running away after being paid for rescuing the princess, has an attack of the conscience. He returns, takes out one of the TIE fighters next Vader's TIE fighter, and clears Luke a path to actually take the final shot that blows the Death Star. And we go from there to the award ceremony at the end of the movie. Again, one big self-contained film. Absolutely brilliant. Now, I have defended a couple of the pieces of criticism this movie got over the years, but I'm not beyond giving a movie a bit of stick myself from time to time if it needs it. Now, the common sense thing here, as far as being the Empire, discovering where the rebel base is, they turn up and the base is on the moon on the far side of a planet, Yavin. That's the name of the planet. I knew it would come to me. So they have, you see, a timer on the Death Star and on the rebellion base. Half an hour they've got to make their attack, because the Death Star will not be in range until it orbits the planet. Now, the Death Star is a planet destroying device, and I always thought to myself, why doesn't the Empire just crank up the Death Star to full power, take a blast right through the centre of Yavin, and blow its shrapnel all over this moon that the rebellion is on? It's like, 2 shots at the very most would have took out everybody. the rebellion would be defeated, the Empire would win, but it wouldn't be very entertaining as far as storytelling goes, but it is the common sense thing. You need to remember that in films. It's just, movies are there to entertain, and, A New Hope entertains the absolute life out of me. I have got such a love for this movie. It's unreal. People have always said that the follow-up to this, The Empire Strikes Back, is the best Star Wars film ever made. I would kind of agree with that, but this one here, the very first one, is, for me, priceless, because it just, again, it was the underdog winning whenever he was told that he couldn't do something, and absolutely brilliant. And the amount of things that came from that movie and the Star Wars saga in general before Lucas sold it was unbelievable. Like he put on some big investment into home editing software, like the first affordable editing software, and people like you and me sitting in our rooms making videos on the internet, be able to edit and whatnot. This technology that we're using right now is, in a way, thanks to Star Wars. Now, it's not to say if Lucas didn't invest time and money into making that sort of stuff, we wouldn't have it. Somebody would have made it. We maybe wouldn't have been as far on with it as we are now. What else came from it? The Pixar computer was built by Lucas and his team. Special effects took a massive jump forward because of the money that came out of Star Wars. The cinema, the face of cinema changed so much because of the success of this movie. I absolutely love it, and if you've never seen Star Wars, you need to go and punch yourself in the face very hard. Sit down right now, get a copy of the movie, and watch it.